Hi, welcome to Grey Horse Yoga. This week's video is going to focus on activating our core muscles. When we are riding, of course, our core is very important, but even if you're not an equestrian, your core muscles are so important for helping to support the proper alignment of your spine in any activity that you do throughout your day. A lot of times we think of the core muscles as just the front of the body, the abdominal muscles, but it also is the internal, external oblique muscles that wrap around the sides of the body, the transverse abdominus muscle that is just below the belly button, and then of course all the muscles in the back of the body. So we're going to activate all of those a little bit in today's practice. So we're going to start with a quick warm up. So I want you to come onto your mat into table pose. So as we set up for table pose, have your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. The crown of the head is lengthening forward and the gaze is just gently down towards the mat. So we don't want to let the head collapse. We also don't want to create a kink in the neck by looking up. Initially, we will do some movement in that direction, but just finding your breath first, just focusing on the breath moving in and out of the nose. Inhaling and exhaling, and notice how just breathing already starts to engage those abdominal muscles a little bit as you exhale and draw the belly towards the spine. And as you take your next exhale, now round the spine, draw the belly in, gaze back towards the belly button, coming into a cat pose. And then as you inhale, send the sit bones back, lengthening the front of the body, taking the gaze a little forward and up into cow pose. So keep that going with your breath. Exhale, rounding the spine, think of pressing the mat away. And inhale, send the sit bones back, lengthening the front of the body. Again, gaze forward and up, no crunching in the back of the neck. 2 more times like that. Exhale. And inhale. Good. Once more, exhaling and inhale. And then this exhale, just come back to neutral, back to table pose. And then bring the hands, one hand to print in front of where they were for your table pose. Curl the toes under, lift the knees a couple inches off the mat. Just kind of hover here, really draw that lower belly in and up. This is a good prep for downward facing dog, but also really finds those core muscles. And then keeping the knees bent, send your sit bones up and back, staying on the toes, coming into downward facing dog. So think of letting the crown of the head again still lengthen, this time towards the fingertips. Make sure you're breathing. Nice, lengthen the spine again, just keeping the knees bent to start. And then if you'd like, you can pedal through the feet. So press down through one heel, maybe take a deeper bend in the opposite knee. And then bend that knee again, switch sides, press down through the opposite heel. Let that opposite knee again maybe take a deeper bend. So just again, nice and slow, just kind of warming up. And then come way up onto the toes, straighten both legs, send the sit bones up as high as you can. And then release the knees down to the mat and curl the toes. Bring the hands again back underneath the shoulders. So good core strength all the way around for this next sequence. We're going to extend the right leg back, press through the heel, keep pressing into the top of your left foot, getting that nice length through the crown of the head, then lift the right leg just to hip height. So keep the big toe dialed down, lengthening through the crown of the head. Think of drawing that lower belly in and up. If you'd like to test your balance a little bit, you can extend the left arm forward. So again, finding our balance here and finding we have to use the muscles front, back, and sides of the body here. Inhale and exhale. And again, if it doesn't work for you to lift that left arm, if you find you're not breathing, then keep the left arm on the mat. And then release the left hand down and the right leg down. Just for a moment, exhale and round back to child pose. Hips towards the heels, so forehead towards the mat. Take a breath here. And then pressing into the hands and the feet, come back up to table pose. Now extend the left leg back, press through the heel. Keep connection with that right foot. You're pressing the top of the right foot into the mat. Lift the left leg to hip height. Again, think of those core muscles. This is that transverse abdominus muscle just below the belly button. Think of really lifting that in and up as you draw that lower belly in and up. And then extend the right arm forward if you'd like. Again, make sure you're breathing. Another breath here, another inhale and exhale. And then release the right hand down and the left leg down. Again, exhale, funnel back to child pose just for a breath. Exhale back. And then inhale, come up to table pose. So of course our traditional core pose in yoga is a plank pose. So make sure you have enough space again behind you on your mat to extend the legs, wrist again underneath the shoulders. Extend the right leg back, press through the heel. Bring the left leg back to meet the right. So make sure here, think of drawing that lower belly in and up, keeping the hips lifted. Think of pressing the mat away from you with the hands. You can always bring your knees down to the mat if you need a little bit more support for the lower back. But make sure you don't let the hips sag down. If the hips sag down, you get an enormous amount of pressure in the shoulders. So they really think of drawing that lower belly in and up. Inhale and exhale. Then we're going to do a little transition all the way down to the mat. So bring your knees down to the mat. Option to keep your toes curled under with the feet, toes staying on the mat, or lift the feet, cross the feet at the ankles. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, bend your elbows back towards your hips, lower down one straight long line all the way down to the mat. Once you come down, forehead to the mat, bring your hands back beside the hips, palms to the floor, thumbs pointing to the outside, pinkies toward you. Draw the shoulder blades together, feet hip distance apart, press into the feet. Inhale, lift the forehead, lift the upper chest. Locust pose variation. So this is where we're working on strengthening the back of the body, just as important as the front. So again, press into the feet. Inhale, think of lifting a little higher. Inhaling and exhaling. And then exhale, lower all the way back down. Let the forehead release down. Let the legs relax and the arms relax for a moment. Inhale and exhale. And then once again, press into the tops of the feet, feel the kneecaps lift, press into the hands, draw the shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift the forehead, lift the upper chest. Again, gaze is just a little out in front of the mat, so we're not cranking and lifting the head up. We're keeping the crown of the head extended forward. And then exhale again, lower down. Let everything relax for a moment. So this time, option to also lift the legs if that feels okay for your back. If not, keep your feet on the mat. But start by pressing into the feet, press into the palms, draw the shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift the forehead, lift the upper chest. Lift the legs if that feels okay for you, again for your back. If not, keep your feet on the mat. Inhale, think of lifting a little higher. Inhaling and exhale. Good, another breath. And then exhale, lower all the way back down. This time, just let the arms come comfortably by your side. Turn your head to one side, take a breath, maybe a little jiggle of the hips, let the hips relax. Turn the head the opposite direction. Again, take a breath. And then coming back onto the belly. This time we're going to bring the elbows directly underneath the shoulders. Forearms are parallel. Check for the alignment of the shoulders here. If you reach for opposite elbows, you should just be able to bring the top two knuckles just to outside edges of the elbows. So we don't want the arms too far or too close to each other, because you want to think of aligning the bone right at this upper arm bone right underneath your shoulder. And then pivoting on the elbows, bring the hands back out, interlace the fingers, curl the toes under, lift the hips up, come to an elbow plank pose. So same thing here as our plank pose. Don't let your hips sag down. Think of drawing that lower belly in and up. Again, you can always bring your knees down to the mat. Just keep the core muscles engaged. You know, the knees are giving you a little bit more support, but you can still really activate the core by drawing that lower belly in and up. Or again, keep the knees lifted. Inhale and exhale. And then as you're ready, release the knees down to the mat, release the hands. We're going to walk ourselves back up through table pose, uncurl the toes, fold all the way back to a child pose. You can keep the arms extended forward. You can bring the hands back beside the feet if you'd like, palms up. Take a couple breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. And then very gently bring the hands beside either side of the head, right in front of the knees. Gently roll yourself up onto your heels or come all the way up to kneeling if it does not feel good for your knees. We're going to do, we've worked a little front of the body, back of the body, and we do a little bit on the side. So we're going to come down to lie on our side. We're going to do both sides, so I'm just going to say top side, bottom side, so you lie down on whichever side feels good for you. So the elbow, lower arm is going to be directly underneath the shoulders. We're going to make about a 90-degree angle with the hips and the knees. Hand, the top hand can either be supporting you, fingertips lightly to the mat, or you can place this hand on top of the forearm about where the wrist is. So we're going to inhale and we're going to lift the hips up, and then we're going to exhale and lower them back down. So as we lift up, make sure, think of this top hip. Imagine there's a string attaching to that, the top, up towards the ceiling, the sky, wherever you are, and lift that hip straight up and exhale, release down. So again, we're working these muscles that wrap around the body, internal, external, oblique muscles. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, release. Good, a couple times. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Good, inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Let's do 2 more times. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Good, once more. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. And then slowly come all the way up. Swing your legs to the opposite side. So same thing, as we set up, the foundation is very important because we're going to be supporting ourselves with this arm. We want to make sure that we are supporting ourselves with the bone and not hanging in the joints of the ligaments and joints in our shoulder joint, ligaments and tendons in our shoulder joint. So you don't want the elbow out here. You don't want it way in here. So think of, again, that alignment, and then stacking up the hips on top. Again, a little 90-degree angle here. Let this hand be a support on your side in front, resting on that lower arm. So inhale, lifting up, and exhale and lower down. So you might find that one side's easier than the other. We usually have, just like our horses, a hollow side and a stiff side. So you might find that one side's a little easier. This is my easier side. Inhale, lift up, exhale, lower down. Good, a couple more times. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Good, inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Now at any time, if you're feeling any sensation in your shoulder, if you have tweaky shoulders, only do a couple and then come back to neutral. So from here, let's swing our legs again back, come down back to the other end of the mat. Hands in front, curl those toes under, sit bones up and back. Once again, come to your downward facing dog, knees bent or legs straight, or maybe pedal the feet a little bit more, just whatever works for you. Inhale and exhale. And then gently, as you're pedaling the feet, walk the feet towards the hands. Take tiny steps, bend your knees as much as you need to. Come up to a standing forward bend. Let the knees bend. You can take hold of opposite elbows here if you'd like. Just let everything release. Let those core muscles release. Inhale and exhale. Bring the hands to the hinge of the hip. Press into the feet. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Come all the way up to standing. Once you come up to standing, just do a little roll of the shoulders. So do just a couple standing postures, again working a little bit on our core. So coming to mountain pose, so feet hip distance apart. Think of lifting the inner arch of the feet and the kneecaps. Think of the sternum lifting, energy through the crown of the head, hands coming down by your side, palms facing forward. And just this standing posture, our foundation in mountain pose, really engages all of the muscles that we have been working on today. Inhale and exhale. So we're going to inhale, float the arms up and overhead, and then exhale, Send the knees out over the toes so the sit bones behind you. Come to chair pose. So really think, draw that lower belly in and up. You know, we just do chair pose and just kind of hang out. But if we want to work that core, think of drawing that lower belly in. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Think of drawing the lowest ribs towards the hips. Inhale and exhale. So to engage those internal, external oblique muscles, we're going to take this into a twist. So bring your right hand to your sacrum, bring your left arm to the outside of the right knee. So as we place that left hand to the outside of the right knee, don't let your right knee collapse inward. Press the right knee out into that left hand and slowly turn your torso to the right. So think of keeping the feet and the knees parallel. That left hip and left knee can come just a little forward if that feels better for your pelvis and sacrum. So again, listen to your body. Inhale and exhale. The important thing is we don't want the knees collapsing towards each other or out. So you want to protect those ligaments in the knee. Inhale and exhale. And then slowly come back to center. Bring the palms together. Shoot the arms forward. Come all the way up. Take a nice front extension. Let everything release. Exhale again. Bring the hands down to the heart. And then inhale, float the arms up. Send your knees out over your toes, sit bones behind you. Come again to that chair pose. Again, think of really drawing that lower belly in. And then bringing left hand to the sacrum, right hand to the outside of the left knee. Gently twist now to your left. And again, same thing. Knees staying over the heels. But if this right knee and hip need to come a little forward for your comfort level in this pose, that's fine. Inhale and exhale. Really think again, these core muscles are what is turning us in that twist. Then come back to center, palms together, and shoot the arms forward, come all the way up. Little front extension this time, widen the arms a little bit, and then bring the palms together. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Close the eyes for a couple breaths. Just awareness to your breath, sensations in the body. Very gently let the eyes open. I hope you enjoyed this practice today. Again, this will benefit you whether you are an equestrian or not. If you are a rider, you know, anytime we can do something to improve our core strength so that we can follow better. It's kind of opposite of what you think, but whenever we are in the saddle, we have to keep the core, keep our stability so that the rest of the body can follow the movement of the horse. This is what I was working on in my lesson today. So again, core strength, so important, but even, you know, walking down the stairs, carrying a load of laundry, anything where you might be a little out of balance or you need to have that better balance, anything that we can do to help the core will be beneficial. Thanks for joining me today. Please give a thumbs up to this video if you liked it and sign up for my email newsletter. All that information is below. And I hope to see you sometime soon in the saddle or on the mat. Have a great day. Bye-bye.